I have my sister, she was a lesbian. I have a brother, he likes men. And, it's a hard subject because, I keep it real. I tell my brother all the time, I was like, dog, don't be coming over here with that gay I tell my kids that too. Oh my God. What? I tell him that, but he's like, but he's cool. He's cool. He's cool. But he said it too.
He said, yep, he be saying it.
Yeah.
He be saying it.
This is, and I mean this with all my heart, gross. Here's more from MMA legend Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson.
But he's cool too, right? He goes, because I have two twin brothers, and we're hanging out, and he came out and said we knew he was gay to begin with. We didn't care.
Right.
We didn't care. We still love him.
You could just see it.
We still love him. We just see it. We'll be hanging out. We'll play video games. He'll be like, I'm a bad bitch. I'm like, it's like, you definitely beat me, Street Fighter 6. Come on, let's go. He ain't beat me. So we're playing, and next thing you know, we're hanging out, and he goes, guys, like, I'm still the same. I just like men. That's all I do. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. We have no problem with that. But my kids, they're coming up. They're around my brother, and I just tell them, I'm like, if they're like, hey, they see the other twin who's with the woman,
right, but
they haven't seen my brother with his partner. And when that time comes, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm like, he is an adult.
Right.
He has chosen to love a man.
Right.
There is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And I was like, you guys are too young to decide what. I don't want you guys being persuaded.
Wait, what? Being persuaded? What? What is he talking about?
That it's okay. I don't want to say it's okay, but I never forget. A gentleman says, let me ask you a question, Demetrious. I was like, what's up? He goes, do you think if all genders were with the same gender, what do you think would happen to the world? I was like, it would die. We won't be able to repopulate. He goes, exactly. So don't tell me that it's natural. That was his argument to me about gays and lesbian, right?
I saw Van Lathan tweet this, and as I watch it, and y'all watch it, I'll reiterate what he typed. There wasn't any maliciousness, but there was a ton of ignorance. Let's continue.
And so when my kids, when they get next to my brother and they see that, they're like, Dad, he's kissing another man. I'm like, it's okay. Like, that's what he chooses to do. But you guys are too young to make that decision. When you guys become 18, 19, 20, 21, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You're out of my house. True. But right now, you don't know what you like, right? Like, they're all dating girls right now. And my daughter, she's too young to have a boyfriend. But I'm like, enjoy. Be a kid. Have fun.
Yeah, go play video games.
Go
learn how to multiply.
Yep.
Don't worry about who you like, what you like. But that's it.
You're gonna see the comments. You're like, don't bring that down here.
What? Not to mention, RG3 is kind of gross here too. Let's discuss. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you. It goes without saying I despise this. The Redditors did as well. Mighty Mouse seems like a nice guy, but what an absolute disaster of an answer. The fact that he keeps framing being gay as a choice is the biggest problem here. Yes. Yes. And that's exactly what I saw when, I hate even mentioning this, but Haas was reviewing the Sam Cedar Jubilee video, and there were a few Christian nationalists up there who claimed if they had God in their lives, they wouldn't be gay because it is a choice. I would guarantee if we had to unpack what Mighty Mouse was saying, the root of it probably comes from that, which is wrong. People are born gay. They should be allowed to be gay. We should be allowed to say the word gay in Florida. None of this stuff should matter. What should matter is how billionaires are stealing from the working class, but they want us fighting over how a person identifies, which is insane. Also, knowing he has 2 family members who are in the LGBTQ plus community and still thinks it is a choice shows how fundamentally broken he is on this subject. More from the Redditor, excuse me. On top of the fact that he acknowledges that his sons date girls, yet in the same breath will say they're still too young to determine what they're actually into. That entire room seems to have a negative IQ and isn't at all equipped to have a grown-up discussion about homosexuality. It's so gross. Mighty Mouse seems like a nice guy, but it is a disaster. I agree. I think it is gross. I think what else is pretty appalling is I have seen a few RG3 interviews, and every time there is something that comes up where you have to take a stance and it deals with social issues, he's usually on the wrong side because he wants to play centrist. And that's the problem with centrism. The fact that they think that you have to acknowledge how funny this guy is being because he says being gay is a choice and don't bring that gay blank over here, that's insane. But the reason he's doing it, I need to be very clear about this, is because he was let go by ESPN. Wrong move by ESPN. He was not a bad analyst, especially when it came to college football. When he was in the booth doing color commentary, he was great. I'm being honest. And so when they let him go, he utilized his contacts mainly, as we have seen in a few different interviews, when he had Dana White on, required or gave no pushback whatsoever and allowed Dana White to use RG3's podcast as a platform to promote his own internal strife with politics and also to just slobber knock over Trump. And RG3 and his significant other said nothing. RG3 sees opportunity by utilizing Dana White and his network to have the likes of Mighty Mouse and other MMA fighters on. I'm being very, very transparent about this. Another Redditor chimed in. That's why he doesn't want to say anything that'll get him in trouble and potentially have one MMA fighter say, yeah, don't go on RG3's podcast. He was a insert word here instead of it being healthy dialogue and pushback. But RG3 is afraid of it. He's a wuss. Another chimed in. The falling over laughing part after don't come over here with that gay stuff was so high school-esque. I agree. Like, even without considering how harmful that attitude is, it really just wasn't that funny. I would understand a little chuckle and a right or something, but why are you, an adult man, literally falling on the couch laughing at that statement? It just doesn't make sense to me. Because he's corny. Because he's corny and he's sucking up to his guests to remain in their good graces to then preserve the bag of his podcast and YouTube channel by getting better guests. That's exactly what it is. He does not want to have any pushback, so he will laugh at any terrible joke or offensive joke in order to preserve. One more user, right? And this is Mighty Mouse. It's also on RG3. Because much like Tom Morello said, when you have a Nazi at a table and no one calls out the Nazism, then the rest of the table is Nazis. He should have taken a stance. And I think I know where his stances are, but the fact that he had no pushback whatsoever shows a lot, especially someone who's been in the media space professionally for quite a while. One more user rightfully put it. I think anytime somebody accepts the framing of sexuality as a choice, they must be somewhere on the bisexual spectrum, even if they won't admit it consciously. I don't totally agree with this. As someone who's totally open to the idea of being attracted to the same sex, I'm just not. That's okay. I just can't choose to like the same sex. That's a good point. Sorry, I railroaded. If you can accept the idea of choosing, then you must feel like you have a choice. I wish I did, but I don't. So I wouldn't be surprised if DJ is bi and just doesn't like it about himself. Why else would he so easily accept and adopt that framing? Again, I don't agree with that. I think it is about what you are taught and how you either refuse to learn or you believe that it is a sin. I mean, we could go on and on about the factors and why someone might believe that. To jump to that conclusion, I feel is a little irrational, but just to put a bow on this, Mighty Mouse, bad. RG3 and his significant other allowing this to fester, worse. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.